What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the new year. And I thought a great way to start off 2021 would be to do my very first everyday carry review. Now, I've always been meaning to do one, but it's been so difficult to cram one in on top of all the videos that I have on the schedule, so I wanted to jump on this early so I don't run into the same problem later on down the year. So today, I'm going to be going over some of the items that I carry around with me every day. A lot of them are going to be pieces of tech, but some others are going to be a bit different. That said, if you guys want to snag any of this stuff up, there'll be some links in the description to the stuff that I could find, just in case you're interested. Now, before we jump into this review, if you're new here, I'm basically the guy who tests out the newest and most popular tech out there before you buy them, to make sure that you're informed and don't make any purchasing mistakes. That said, would really appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up, it really helps me out. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with all the coolest tech devices and toys, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. Okay, first up, gotta start with my primary phone. And my daily driver is the iPhone 12 Pro. Now, I've tested every new iPhone that was launched this year, and I ultimately landed with going with the regular 12 Pro over the 12 Pro Max, which is a bit of a deviation from what I usually go for. I think the dimensions, build quality, and overall design is just perfection on this phone. It's one of the rare times where I've actually encouraged viewers to pony up the extra dollars and go for the Pro because it is so nice. I'm also pretty deep in Apple's ecosystem, so I do prefer iOS over Android when it comes to day-to-day. I'm always moving files between my phone and my iMac as well, so having AirDrop for quick transfers is a must-have for me, and it really checks the box on virtually everything I needed to do. Consuming content is fantastic with this phone, which is great because with the pandemic, I've been watching a lot more videos and playing games on my phone, and the 12 Pro has been able to handle it like a beast. It's super comfortable to write emails and text messages with, which is great because I'm doing that quite often, and the cameras on this phone are pretty phenomenal. The still image quality, in my opinion, is one of the best out there on any smartphone, and it's without a doubt the best for shooting video. The dynamic range you can get in 4K is so far ahead of the competition, I'll even use the iPhone 12 Pro as a backup B-roll camera for my YouTube videos. And overall, the performance on this phone is just freakishly good. There's seriously not much I can say that's on the nose bad with the iPhone 12 Pro, and it's one of the most refined smartphones I've ever held in my hands. Okay, next to that, a new addition to my everyday carry are these guys, the AirPods Max. Now, before I come off too hard as an over-the-top flexing Apple fanboy, I'll come right out and say that these aren't for everyone. The $550 price tag to me pushes this out of reach for most consumers, and there's a lot of other options out there for cheaper. But the reason I have these on me all the time is because I work 100% from home now, and the room in which I both do my regular day job and my YouTube work also happens to be the spare bedroom that has our washer and dryer in it. So these come in handy to block out a lot of the clatter I have going on here throughout the day. And hate on Apple all you want, I gotta tip my hat off to them. They've made an extremely well put together pair of Bluetooth headphones. They're surprisingly comfortable to wear for extended periods of time, great for me while I'm on a long conference call or finishing up an edit, and the noise cancelling is seriously the best in this segment. It's almost eerie how well the AirPods Max are at cancelling noise. You may not even realize it while you have them on, but I'm legit shocked every time I take them off because I realize just how noisy the room is. Plus, the sound quality on these are addictingly good, and they're actually really great for taking calls with their built-in mics. Now, if I was commuting or not confined to my home most of the day, these probably wouldn't have made the list, and I'm still definitely not at a place where I can actively recommend these to most consumers, but I have been using them daily for weeks now, and they've been pretty great at keeping me focused and comfortable while getting a ton of work done. Now, I am aware that some folks have been experiencing some condensation issues within the driver housing when using AirPods Max for extended periods of time. I personally haven't experienced any issues so far, but if you want to learn a little bit more about this issue, Painfully Honest Tech has a really good video on it. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And quick shameless plug, if you guys are interested in the hoodie that I'm wearing, I just finalized the Me in Real Life GSL Review Team hoodie design and got the samples in the other week, and no lie, I've been wearing them all the time. If you guys want to snag any of these up to support the channel, you can find it linked below. Okay, switching gears a bit, the next item here has the honor of being my favorite piece of tech of all time, and that's my Omega Speedmaster Professional, reference number 3570.50. Now, there's a few of you that have noticed this butte in the background in some of my shots, and it's mainly because I have it on almost all the time. I love watches. It's probably the only other passion that I have that's equivalent to the one that I have towards tech, and the Omega Speedmaster to me is the perfect marriage between the two. Not only does it look absolutely gorgeous, seriously, this watch can be worn with anything and look fantastic. It's a historic marvel when it comes to technology. Now, I'm not going to geek out too hard on it now, but the Speedmaster was the watch selected by NASA to accompany astronauts into space during the 1960s, and ultimately became the first watch worn on the moon. So there's no electrical components whatsoever on this watch. It's all run by a mechanical hand-wound movement, which I know in many ways can sound like the antithesis of technology, but man, you gotta respect the engineering that went into something this small that can withstand zero gravity, extreme temperatures, and re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. I also bought this for myself when I received my acceptance letter into the graduate school I worked really hard to get into, so it definitely holds some sentimental value. It's something I hope to pass down to my son or possible grandson when I get older, but until then, it'll be on my wrist for many more days to come. Okay, when it comes to wallets, I almost never carry cash on me anymore, and I hate having too much bulk in my pockets, so I've been using this really simple card case for a while now. It's made by a company called Bricks, and it's made out of stainless steel, which I like, because as much as I'm a fan of traditional leather, it usually falls apart a lot faster. And I get that this thing is pretty beat up and has a ton of scratches, but it kind of gives it some character, and I don't feel nearly as bad about aggressively throwing this in and out of my pocket like I would a designer leather wallet. What I mainly love about this thing is that it has slots for a max of 7 cards, and it opens up in this nice accordion style filing system, making it super easy to get what I need in and out quickly. It has a nice locking mechanism that clicks shut and pops open when you push this button. It has RFID protection, which is great for security, and it's pretty cheap. This is way better than some of the other wallets or card holders that I've tried in the past, something super minimal but ultra functional. Okay, next up is something that's essentially my TechSwiss Army knife, and that's the 7-in-1 USB Type-C hub. USB-C is great, and it's slowly making its way across more and more devices, but it's usually at the expense of older I/O. Apple is particularly notorious at taking away legacy ports that are still heavily used by majority of the population, a struggle I've had especially with the new iPad Air. And this little thing is great because it gives me virtually every access point I'll need in one compact device. You get a standard USB 3.0 port, an SD and micro SD card slot reader, a full-size HDMI port, 2 USB-C ports with one that can support 60-watt fast charging, and a headphone jack. It has you covered for anything you'll need to connect to, and this thing has come in handy so many times when I'm creating content on the move. It's also really well put together, it's made out of aluminum, and I love how it sits flush against the iPad. It gives it a really clean look, and this is something I'll have in my bag at all times. I know there's a ton of hubs out there to choose from, but this one has been great for me up to this point. Okay, the last thing I've been carrying around with me a lot lately is an actual knife. It's a pocket knife from the company Kershaw, and the main reason why I have it is because I get a crap ton of packages sent over here all the time, and I'm always opening up boxes and breaking them down, and no lie, having a good knife on you makes that process a lot easier. Now, I'm definitely not a knife enthusiast, and I'm not qualified to say if this one is quote-unquote good or not. I do know that it's crazy sharp and really sturdy. The hinge mechanism has a really strong lock when opened, and it has a relatively thin profile, so it's not too much of a hassle to carry around. Now, I wouldn't mind something more compact and a little easier to open though, so if you guys have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments. Okay, that's about it for my everyday carry review. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'd really appreciate it. Check out these other reviews on some of the best tech accessories if you're looking for more. Let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.